Hi students, I wanted to do a quick video as we're wrapping up our final few weeks of the semester. I wanted to talk a little bit about the last few assignments that you're going to need to be doing, especially the bigger ones like the cultural plunge and the educational plan, because we're really winding down and when we're in our last literally 3 weeks. Also, I just want to share with you a crazy experience I had over the weekend that really resonates with what we learned from Chapter 8, which you just finished today, Monday, 12 noon. You turned in your assignments for Chapter 8. So yesterday I was out grocery shopping with my two little ones, my 5-year-old and my 1.5-year-old, and we were at the grocery store in the parking lot, and all of a sudden a car pulled up and I could hear screaming coming from the car, like enraged, angry, yelling, screaming. And the passenger father jumped out, opened up the backseat passenger door, instructed his daughter to come out, and was screaming at her in the middle of the parking lot. And she was a young little girl. She was about 8 or 9, not a teenager, screaming up, taking personal responsibility that she was disrespectful, and literally screaming at the top of his lungs that it's not okay to talk to anybody in that manner, much less a child who's 8 or 9 and your own kid. And it shook me to the core, and I was putting my kiddos in the shopping cart. And I thought for a second, what do I do in this situation? I usually am not one to intervene when parents are, with their kids and disciplining their kids, or, but this was a very out of the norm experience, to the point where other people in the parking lot started coming over because they heard this screaming, and they were wondering what was going on. And I was so close. I was, maybe about 10 feet away, and I couldn't really see the girl, but as I turned around the corner, I saw her, and she was just standing there with her hands up to her face, and he was down in her face, literally like, this close to each other, and he was just berating her, railing into her. And I thought, this is a moment that I can either walk away, or I could do something and show my son, that there's different ways to stand up for people. So I walked over and I just said, "Excuse me, sir, like, this is not okay." And he, confronted me, and another mother actually kind of bypassed me and was even more upset at the scene, and was talking to the man and telling him how not appropriate this was. So anyways, he left, and we were all shooken up. My son said, "That was really scary, Mommy." And I said, it was really scary. It was scary for me, but it opened up a lot of dialogue on, when to say something, when to say, hey, are there other ways to react? And actually it fit very well with Chapter 8. And I said, it's okay to be angry. It was okay. He was angry with his daughter. That's definitely something that comes up. And it's okay for children to be angry as well. What's not okay is the behavior he chose. There's other ways to communicate your anger and frustration. So we had a lot of dialogue about that. And he said to me, "No, you never talk to me like that, Mommy." And I said, "No, I get angry. I get frustrated when you are sassy with me, or you don't follow directions. But I also try to choose different behaviors to express that anger or frustration." So it kind of clicked with me on what we learned in Chapter 8 and what you read, and just really wanted to share with you, because I think these moments in our lives will come up where we can either be a bystander, or we can be an upstander and say something, because it's a teaching moment. And hopefully for that father, it was a moment to say, "Hey, you're enraged. What are you teaching your daughter right now? What is it that you're trying to teach her?" So I wanted to share with you that. And you might have different thoughts, and you might behave in a different way and have different reactions. And I'm okay with that too. I just want to share with you what I experienced and what I chose to do. So really quickly, what assignments that I wanted to address, and my apologies, the PowerPoint for test taking will be posted tonight. I was having some issues with audio, but what I wanted to share with you, move over here, in the next couple of weeks. So this week we're talking about test taking. Some of you have already done that. Great. What we are going to do, sorry, I'm trying to get to our last two big assignments. One is your educational plan. So some of you have met with me in a counseling appointment. Great. I love to meet with my students in person. And we did an educational plan and you got the points for this assignment already. And that's already been in there after the appointment we had. For those of you who still don't have an educational plan on file with a counselor, you can always view your educational plan. If you met with a counselor last semester and created a long-term plan for all through next year, send it to me. You can go to your student center on your eServices or My Palomar portal and you can view my educational plan. If you're going to meet with a counselor, go ahead and have that counselor email you your educational plan and just forward that to me, and that will be sufficient. If you're not going to be at Palomar after this semester, then email me and I'm going to give you an alternative assignment on your long-term goals. So that's due on Monday, May 20th. So it's giving you a couple of weeks to get to meet with a counselor, get those educational plans in. So that is part of the assignments that's going to be due. And then the last assignment that's big is our cultural plunge. That's not due until the final day of the semester, which is Saturday, May 25th. So I'm giving you a lot of time to do this, but I did want to bring attention to something. One of the options, again, this assignment is the requirement is to expose yourself to something different in terms of a cultural or a group that you are not familiar with, that's not something of your own, whether it be related to religious affiliation, cultural, ethnic relation, socioeconomic status, differently abled populations, just so something that you're exposing yourself to something different and kind of plunging into the culture of a different group to learn about those experiences and to also assess for yourself what your thoughts and learnings from that are and how you feel about it and how you feel in that experience. But one of the things I did want to bring attention to was the religious affiliation. Like I said and mentioned last week, there has been ongoing safety concerns at religious places of worship. You know, the shooting that occurred at the synagogue last week here in Poway. And that is a concern, and that is something that's on my mind a lot. And if that's something that you're not comfortable going to a place of worship, I am completely okay with you choosing something different. So a lot of students for this assignment do end up going to, you know, a church that maybe has a different faith than what maybe they grew up with. But if you choose not to go to any religious affiliation, look at all these other options. There's cultural, ethnic settings, places in the area, sexual orientation organizations, socioeconomic status, and again, other experiences that you can visit and get involved with. And again, it's a one-time thing. So it's a one-time visit for you to go and see. If it's something like the San Diego Center for the Blind, maybe you can stop in and just take a tour and say, hey, I'm doing this for an assignment and I'd really like to just take a tour of your center. And that's it. You know, it takes maybe half an hour. Other options, you know, a lot of students end up going to the Japanese gardens in Balboa Park and they really enjoy experiencing that setting. A lot of students say that it kind of removes them from their day-to-day and they kind of like the setting of the Japanese gardens. There is a fee to that though, so I'd be a little, I don't want you to have to go to extra costs for this assignment, but there is a fee to the San Diego Japanese gardens, I believe, if you want to go down further into the garden setting. So email me. Again, you've got a lot of time. You've got a good 3-ish weeks for this assignment. So email me if you have any questions. I definitely understand your concerns. I don't want to put you in a situation where you're feeling uncomfortable in the sense of your safety. So I want to make sure you feel very physically safe where you're going. And I know that places of worship right now could feel a little, you just want to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings, and if you don't feel comfortable, then that's okay too. There's other options for this assignment. So again, email me, reach out to me, let me know, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.